So there are certain people out there that have figured out the niche, they figured out the market. It's like that bit from Bill Hicks on marketing, marketers, where they figure out those dollar signs. They get those dollar signs. Oh yeah, that's a big dollar there. So some people get behind certain means. It could be a religious mean, it could be a political mean. But why do they do it? Why would they risk, right? What their real friends would think about them, what their parents, right, would think about them. Why would they risk their reputation if they even have one? Maybe they don't even have any reputation, right? So they want attention. They want to be big. They're going to feel their ego that way because that's acceptable. Because it's a world that's apologetic to that in its worship of the celebrity, in its worship of the beautiful man or woman. And it's just an archetype, and it may be known by different ethnicities. We're not singling out any ethnicity in this, but just the worship of the flesh. Oh, look at that handsome tall man. Usually tall though. They talk about short man syndrome. They don't talk about tall man syndrome. Ha ha ha. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, there is tall man syndrome. So it's important that people understand that there are humans amongst us that may say that they're one thing, but they're really not. Because they have no conscience like us. They're in a different world, a world of ego and materialism and false gods and idols. But why do they do that? Again, why do they risk, right? What their family would think? Because it works. They figured out something timeless. There is a timeless understanding of the use of marketing and symbols. I don't really talk about this. Um, do I give it much thought? Not a lot of thought, but I'm aware of it. I'm going to ponder out in the open now without notes. Rarely do I write these days. So there seems to be an art. You can even think back to Jordan Maxwell and others. They talk about the power of symbols. But why? Why do these governments, why do these banks, why do these corporations use the pyramid? Why do they use the cube? Why do they use other things regarding illumination? It isn't inherently that those symbols are evil. This is where some conspiracy theorists get it wrong. Some things are borrowed and reborrowed from the ancient world that have been known to be lucky. This is in conjunction with certain dates. And some people's conspiratorial minds absolutely ends at a dead end, which is 322 and 9/11 and numerology obsessions. What I've discovered about the elite false flags during solar flares, it is widely under-researched. And for those of you with supposed questionable, inquisitive minds, should look at the amount of false flag events, staged events during solar flares. So the importance of bringing that up in this video. Um, Number of different topics here as we go into the new year. We have a situation where people, regaining my thought and focus, have stumbled upon the ancient art of mass hypnosis. And that is probably one of the most prized commodities that there is. It's like being able to rig the house. Developing this. And some of these individuals are working with misleading bad spirits, if you will, in order to gain certain knowledge and be led. And they may feel that their thoughts are their own, but their thoughts are not their own. So somehow, some way within human biology, mankind just responds to certain symbols and may even have an inclination to just bow down, bow down, bow down. I remember like when I was up and coming as a human, maybe between 13, 14 and being repelled by gangsta hip hop. And I just noticed the meme, like it was before obey, but it was bow down, bow down, bow down. That's actually raising the roof, bow down, bow down, bow down, west side. And I just thought it was really ridiculous, right? How people would follow that behavior. Kids from the suburbs, if you will, yo, yo, yo. And then me getting into a lot of fisticuffs, being attacked, having to defend myself in some cases, fight or flight. When I was 13, 14 as well. During that same period, I saw I was influencing people that were effing with me, or people that I was most concerned with. Never grew up hating black people, right? But had that one black menace who was the bully. He was going to play that role of the yo because he himself was under the same mind control, not because of his ethnicity, but because he had given his mind away to the yo and whatever rap video of the day, whatever environment he came from. Where was I going with all this? But I have seen the power of symbols, sigils, hip hop, mass media, mind control over the masses. And I told this story before, but not for a while. I was in detention at the age of 11 or 12, North Marion Middle School, um, in Aurora, Oregon. And I was in detention on a Saturday. And the objective, I don't know what the objective was in detention. I don't know what my objective was. I know what I did. I was bored. It's like, just read something, don't talk, sit in your uncomfortable desk. Big old dictionary. Plop. I literally, like a tarot card, if you will, open it up to a random page, move my finger to a random word. And at this point, I'm getting into comic books, comic book heroes. So it was a really quick phase for me. 1992, 1993. My mom's boyfriend, who I've mentioned before, taught me some things, also bought me a lot of comic books and toys during the younger years. So I remember that the hero archetype being strong with me, wanting to create my own hero, its own superpower. You just can't copy Superman. Try. Copy how they look, muscular development. For me, I had a big old eye with a six-sided shape. Six-sided shape like the hidden messages in water. I for insusceptible, not easily influenced. So someone that has a strong defense against mind control, that can think for themselves. Think about something like that being akin to a superpower. It would have to be in a world now where so many people are that under mind control, right? Responsive to symbols. Oh, bow down, whatever the symbol be, some symbol from the ancient world that may not be inherently evil, but is being masqueraded by the current Roman army of the day. And we literally have our current Roman army of the day. Okay. And it's not just the United States. People are very misled. People are very confused. But yes, we know them by, oh, looks like the colors change here all of a sudden. We do know them by their symbols as the sun comes out, mirrors around 8:25 in the morning. We see them by their symbols. We see this global empire. Okay, and this global empire shares technology. People can be put into a global trance with invisible technology, cell phone towers. And there's actually videos on YouTube that we can see of people in China marching as we see them just surrounded by all these towers. We can see the robotic nature, right? We talked about automation in the last video and how we need to like try to prevent ourselves from being so programmed to being so automated. We have to take back our own consciousness. We have to slap ourselves awake, like that scene with Cher in Moonstruck. And she says, snap out of it, as she slaps Nicolas Cage or somebody. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Let's seriously snap out of it. Where was I? So the power of influence works, right? Christopher Green, others, Alex Jones, others, people that are following in their footsteps understand this power of influence, right? Sometimes they're aware that they understand this power of influence. Sometimes they don't. And they're unconsciously, right, putting people under the same spell that they are. So there are shades of gray, and I brought this up before with certain people, today in the alternative media, because I wonder 10 years ago, looking at Hannity and certain people on Fox News, and I would ask myself, do they know that they're propagandists for this draconian system? Like, do they exactly know what they're involved in? Especially as they literally shout out like New World Order to fight terrorism, as they actually literally use the same buzzwords, right? What are they thinking of? Some loving New World Order that's going to be bringing peace? Are they literally believing, right, the script that they're being delivered? So I wonder now today about the alternative media and members of it, as they share talking points very much used by the mainstream media, but use their power of influence to say that they're alternative, right? And they're different from the mainstream media. The other thing, again, that's coming up with all these individuals, they're on the propaganda path in the alt media. Not only do they even believe in God or the Creator, because their actions suggest that they don't, do they realize they're handlers, right? That may be contributing or even special interests that may be giving them Bitcoin or money, do they realize they're going to be caught holding the bag, so to speak, that they may not be protected, their anonymity in the future, that they may be exposed for who they are, right? For the common that they are. And so, a lot of them that are in this game of being programmed, they may be intelligent, they may speak very well, they may be very charismatic, but they themselves are programmed and don't realize it and need to wake up. Wake up. Many people out there think they're intelligent, got it all figured out, and they're asleep. They're in a trance-like state. Oh, they're functioning, they're driving their car, or they're making videos, they're writing. Ooh, they're capable of great things, editing, documentary, things that require great thought. Well, other parts of their consciousness is shut off. And that's what needs to awaken. And some of us, when we have an aspect of our consciousness, which is just awakening, and just as I do that, just think about you awakening up to the next level. Sure, another part of you may be shutting down. There may be a part of you who doesn't feel like being a slave anymore. There may be a part of you who doesn't feel like being walked on anymore. There may be a part of you who doesn't care about trolls or what your family says or dating or things of that nature or, life at the workplace. Part of you that is awake and you want the truth and you want to speak the truth. And there are people that have been going through this experience on this continent, for example, or in the Western culture, perhaps around the world, especially since 9/11, and we've been sharing these DVDs. So yes, we've been looking at a world where more and more bombs are being dropped, depleted uranium, but on the ground, on an unconscious level, even if people aren't even conscious of it, nature's working through them. They may not even know why they're compelled. Does it make sense? Is there any hope? So why do we even do it? Why do we even try? We do so to be aligned with nature. Okay, there's a greater fight. To sell out, right, is to lose that fight, or is to not believe that that fight is real. People that sell out, then they don't really believe in certain things. Or they think that during World War III, or they think that, or somebody's going to hook them up and someone's going to give them a parachute. Someone's going to give them a ride to the moon. Mentioned Alex Jones before. Okay. He's done a lot of this ranting about transhumanism. I want the technology. I want to be like, whoa. A lot of people can't understand that because they don't understand the mind of the Archon or the Archons and how it can project itself into humanity, and people can start acting propaganda, anti-human, machine, cybernetic. I learned about the Archons by learning about the real Alex Jones and be able to wrap, okay, so this is deception, inversion, everything fake, but in the reality you have this husk of very much how Alex Jones would go into character regarding the elite. He, in fact, is describing himself, what he is as the grand deceiver. And it's important that people start to be able to identify this so they can identify between truth and fiction. No longer then is the question, who do we trust 100% in the independent non-mainstream media? It's good to be able to identify people that have a good amount of truth, but we're going to have differences of agreements even if they are attempting to be totally truthful. Their truth may not be your truth. Their advice may not apply to you, right? The things that I'm going through, if I was to advise someone like myself, doesn't apply to somebody else or another YouTuber in some cases. There is crossover. There is crossover. Is it 100%? Absolutely not. Should we be looking more at the crossover? Yes. Are there people, though, as I wrap up here as the battery is low, attempting to steer us away from that, to box us into you're either with us or you're with the terrorists, you're with Hillary Clinton, you're with us, you're with Bitcoin, or you're with the dollar, you're over here now, or you're with da-da-da. Yes. And some of them are either paid agents of, I would say, international intelligence agencies, including some YouTubers. This all might come out in the years ahead. You might be surprised. You might be shocked. And some of them, right, are just being programmed. And they censor themselves and they tell their audience what they want to hear, even if they're not really Christians themselves. Even if they're not even really Trump supporters. That's right. They could actually go, this Donald Trump guy is straight up New World Order. This is bad. Well, better keep up appearances because a pro-Trump dollar is a good, healthy dollar. And they go ahead and cry foul and censorship. People that are getting right behind the bottom line and the agenda are doing pretty well so far. Suppose their Russian investigation. That's all sideshow nonsense to get its fighting about what's real and what's not real as we head closer to World War III. There are plenty of people across the board, racially and politically and gender wise, right, um, that are being hurt on YouTube with this ad crunch. There are people that are deceiving, saying it's just their own demographic being affected. And that's just another deception of these individuals. So you will know them by their fruits, but you need to understand that the only reason that they continue to put out that type of propaganda and tell people what they want to hear is because the people demand it. Okay. And until we live in a reality where the masses change their ways, right? Their tribalistic ways, and that's beyond ethnicity when I talk about the definition of tribalism. It relates to sports teams. Tell people to get out of their sports team gang mentality, political gang mentalities. People won't get it. The masses need to wake up. The focus isn't just on the propagandists. Some people become propagandists because the system encourages them to become propagandists. This is a deeper level and conversation about human psychology. We'll be back.